Arthur sat at the kitchen table, sipping his morning coffee and sifting through the mail. Bills, advertisements, and a few letters from friends piled up until he reached an elegant, brightly colored envelope. Curiously, he opened it, and a wide smile spread across his face. "Jeff," Arthur called out, "you won't believe this. We've got an invitation to AstroWorld." Jeff, lounging on the couch with a book of magical spells, perked up immediately. "AstroWorld? The amusement park? That's amazing. When do we leave?" "Next weekend," Arthur replied, reading the details. "It's from my old college friend, Mark. He works there now and sent us VIP passes." Jeff's eyes sparkled with excitement. "This is going to be epic. We'll ride roller coasters, eat cotton candy, and win giant stuffed animals." Arthur chuckled at Jeff's enthusiasm. "Let's start packing. And remember, this is a regular amusement park, not a magical realm. So maybe leave the dragon egg at home this time." The next few days flew by as Jeff's excitement grew. He couldn't stop talking about all the rides he wanted to go on and the games he wanted to play. His childlike glee was contagious, and Arthur found himself looking forward to the trip more than he had initially expected. "Do you think they'll have a haunted house?" Jeff asked one evening, eyes wide with anticipation. "Probably," Arthur replied, smiling. "And probably a lot of other things that will catch your interest." When it came time to pack, Arthur focused on the essentials: comfortable clothes, sunscreen, and snacks for the road. Jeff, on the other hand, packed a bizarre assortment of items, including magical trinkets, a rubber duck, and a glowing orb, just in case. "Jeff, we're going to an amusement park, not a magical adventure," Arthur reminded him gently as Jeff tried to stuff a small cauldron into his suitcase. "But you never know when you might need a bit of magic," Jeff replied with a grin, finally settling on a more reasonable selection of items. They packed their bags, with Arthur double-checking to ensure Jeff hadn't included anything too outlandish. "Okay, I think we're ready. Just remember, try to blend in and keep the magic to a minimum." Jeff nodded enthusiastically. "Got it! I'll be on my best behavior." The day of their departure arrived, and Jeff and Arthur set off early in the morning. The drive to AstroWorld was filled with Jeff's excited chatter about all the rides and attractions they would see. When they finally arrived, the sight before them was breathtaking. The park was alive with dazzling lights, vibrant decorations, and the enticing smell of park food. The enormous roller coasters twisted and turned against the clear blue sky, and the excited chatter of visitors filled the air. "Wow," Jeff breathed, taking it all in. "This place is incredible." As they walked through the entrance, Jeff's appearance drew curious glances from other visitors. His dark red skin, sharp horns, and glowing yellow eyes made him stand out. But his friendly demeanor and enthusiastic wave quickly put people at ease. They approached the VIP desk, where a friendly staff member handed them their passes. "Welcome to AstroWorld, Mr. Arthur and Mr. Jeff. Enjoy your stay and make the most of your VIP experience." Jeff and Arthur walked deeper into AstroWorld, their eyes wide with wonder at the array of rides and attractions. The park was a vibrant maze of colorful signs, roaring roller coasters, and joyful screams. "Look at that one!" Jeff pointed to the tallest roller coaster in the park, the Sky Screamer. Its tracks twisted and turned high above the ground, promising an adrenaline rush for those brave enough to ride. Arthur glanced at the towering structure, a mix of excitement and apprehension on his face. "Are you sure about this, Jeff? That looks pretty intense." Jeff's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Absolutely! Let's start with the biggest and the best." They joined the line for the Sky Screamer, and Jeff's enthusiasm was contagious. As they waited, he chatted animatedly with other visitors, his demonic appearance drawing curious but friendly attention. When it was their turn, they climbed into the coaster car, securing the safety bars. The ascent was slow, giving them a panoramic view of the entire park. Jeff's excitement grew with each passing second, while Arthur gripped the safety bar tightly. "Here we go!" Jeff shouted as they reached the peak. With a sudden drop, they were off, hurtling through the loops and twists at breakneck speed. Jeff's laughter echoed over the screams of the other passengers. His demonic strength and exuberance added an extra thrill to the ride, causing the car to jolt and sway more than usual. Arthur, trying to keep his composure, felt his heart race as they sped through the wild ride. When the ride finally came to a stop, Jeff was grinning from ear to ear. "That was amazing! Can we do it again?" Arthur, slightly wobbly but smiling, shook his head. "Maybe later. Let's see what else the park has to offer." Their next stop was the haunted house, a dark, winding maze filled with eerie decorations and actors dressed as ghosts and monsters. Jeff's authentic demonic appearance caused quite a stir among the actors, who initially mistook him for a new addition to their team. As they ventured deeper into the haunted house, Jeff's excitement grew. He admired the cobwebs, flickering lights, and realistic props. At one point, an actor dressed as a ghoul jumped out to scare them, only to be startled himself by Jeff's appearance. "Whoa! That's the best costume I've ever seen!" the ghoul exclaimed. Jeff grinned. "Thanks. You look great too." The rest of the haunted house was a mix of genuine scares and comedic moments, with Jeff occasionally forgetting to be scared, and instead admiring the craftsmanship of the decorations. Next, they headed to the bumper cars. Jeff's competitive spirit was in full swing as he navigated the small arena with surprising agility. He aimed for Arthur's car with a playful grin, causing a series of amusing collisions. "Take that!" Jeff shouted, ramming into Arthur's car. Arthur, trying to keep up, laughed. "You're a menace on the road, Jeff." Their antics drew the attention of other visitors, who joined in the fun. The bumper car session turned into a lively, chaotic game, with everyone targeting Jeff, who took it all in stride. After their bumper car escapades, they decided to take a break for lunch. They found a cozy food stand with a variety of options. Jeff's eyes lit up at the sight of the food selection. "This is amazing! So many choices!" Jeff exclaimed, piling his tray high with hot dogs, nachos, cotton candy, and a massive pretzel. Arthur watched with a mix of amusement and concern as Jeff tried to sample everything at once. "Jeff, you don't have to eat it all at once. Pace yourself." But Jeff was unstoppable, drawing amused glances from other visitors as he tried to balance his overloaded tray. Despite the chaos, his antics brought smiles to everyone around him. As they sat down to eat, a group of park mascots walked by, waving and entertaining the crowd. Jeff, fascinated by their elaborate costumes, waved them over. The mascots, a giant panda, a cheerful lion, and a playful dolphin, responded enthusiastically. Jeff, trying to engage the panda in conversation, led to a series of humorous misunderstandings as the mascot tried to stay in character. "Do you enjoy working here?" Jeff asked, genuinely curious. The panda, unable to speak, mimed a thumbs up and a happy dance, causing Jeff to laugh. "I guess that's a yes." Arthur shook his head, smiling. "You sure know how to make friends, Jeff." Their encounter with the mascots ended with a group photo, Jeff standing proudly with his new friends. The photo quickly became a treasured memento of their day. With their energy replenished, Jeff and Arthur continued their exploration of AstroWorld. They tried their hand at carnival games, where Jeff's unusual abilities gave him a slight edge, winning them a collection of stuffed animals and trinkets. As they moved through the park, Jeff's enthusiasm never waned. Every ride, every game, and every attraction was an opportunity for adventure. Arthur, despite his initial reservations, found himself thoroughly enjoying the day. As the day wore on, Jeff and Arthur continued to enjoy the attractions at AstroWorld. However, they began to notice something strange. In various parts of the park, visitors were complaining about items disappearing. Bags, souvenirs, and even food seemed to vanish without a trace. At first, Jeff and Arthur dismissed it as simple carelessness. But when they overheard a family frantically searching for their missing bag near the Ferris wheel, they decided to investigate. "Did you hear that, Arthur?" Jeff whispered, his eyes gleaming with excitement. "A mystery! We have to solve it." Arthur nodded, intrigued. "All right, let's gather some clues and see if we can figure out what's going on." They began their investigation by talking to park staff and other visitors who had reported missing items. A pattern quickly emerged. The disappearances seemed to occur mostly in the more crowded areas of the park, and always when people were momentarily distracted. Jeff, using his charm and demonic intuition, was able to coax additional information from the park's maintenance staff. They learned that the disappearances had been happening sporadically over the past few weeks, but had intensified that day. "This isn't just random," Arthur concluded. "Someone or something is causing this." Jeff's excitement grew. "I bet it's a mischievous creature of some sort. Let's check out the maintenance tunnels. That's where I'd hide if I were causing trouble." Armed with this new information, Jeff and Arthur made their way to the maintenance tunnels. These dark, winding passages ran beneath the park and were used by staff to move around unseen and handle various park operations. As they ventured deeper into the tunnels, they heard faint, mischievous giggling and saw small footprints in the dust. Following the sounds and tracks, they eventually found the culprit, a small, mischievous gremlin surrounded by piles of stolen items. The gremlin, noticing their presence, tried to scurry away, but was quickly cornered by Jeff. "Hey there, little guy," Jeff said, trying to sound friendly. "Why are you taking all these things?" The gremlin, realizing it was caught, looked up at Jeff with wide eyes. "I was just having fun. I didn't mean to cause trouble. It gets so boring down here." Jeff's heart softened at the gremlin's confession. "I get it, but you can't just take other people's stuff. How about this? If you promise to stop your pranks, I'll give you a magical trinket." The gremlin's eyes widened with interest. "Really? What kind of trinket?" Jeff reached into his bag and pulled out a small glowing orb. "This is a light orb. It will keep you entertained without causing trouble. Deal?" The gremlin nodded eagerly. "Deal!" With the gremlin's help, Jeff and Arthur began returning the stolen items to their rightful owners. The gremlin, now fascinated by the light orb, obediently followed Jeff's instructions, handing back bags, souvenirs, and even a few uneaten hot dogs. The park staff, initially skeptical of their story, were soon convinced by the returned items and the gremlin's newfound friendliness. They were grateful for Jeff and Arthur's help, and praised them for resolving the issue so quickly. "You've done us a great service," said the park manager, shaking their hands. "As a token of our appreciation, we'd like to offer you additional VIP perks for the rest of your stay." Visitors were delighted to have their belongings back and thanked Jeff and Arthur profusely. Word of their heroic deeds spread quickly through the park, and Jeff became an unofficial hero of AstroWorld. Children asked for his autograph, and parents offered to buy him treats. Arthur, watching Jeff bask in the attention, couldn't help but smile. "Looks like you're a hit, Jeff." Jeff grinned, enjoying the moment. "This has been the best day ever, and to think we still have more time to explore." The next morning, Jeff and Arthur were up early, eager to make the most of their remaining time at AstroWorld. Thanks to their newfound VIP status, they were granted special access to the behind-the-scenes areas of the park. A friendly staff member named Emily greeted them and took them on a private tour. "You're going to see how the magic happens," she said with a wink. They started at the park's design studio, where they met the creative minds behind AstroWorld's attractions. The designers showed them blueprints and models of upcoming rides and explained the intricate planning that went into each one. Jeff was fascinated. "So this is where the ideas come to life. It's like a workshop for dreams. Arthur nodded, equally impressed. It's amazing how much work goes into making the park so magical. Next, they visited the maintenance areas, where engineers and technicians kept the rides running smoothly. Jeff couldn't resist asking questions about the mechanics of the roller coasters and how the animatronics in the haunted house worked. The staff, amused by his curiosity, were happy to explain. Finally, they were taken to the costume department, where they saw the elaborate outfits worn by the park's mascots and performers. Jeff tried on a few costumes, much to everyone's amusement, and even gave a little performance, which had Arthur and the staff in stitches. As evening approached, Jeff and Arthur were escorted to a prime viewing area for the grand nighttime parade and fireworks show. The parade was a dazzling display of lights, music, and dancing, with performers in stunning costumes and floats that seemed to glow with their own magical light. Jeff was mesmerized. "This is incredible, Arthur. I've never seen anything like it." Arthur smiled, enjoying Jeff's awe. "It's pretty spectacular, isn't it?" When the parade ended, the sky above AstroWorld lit up with a breathtaking fireworks display. The colors and patterns danced across the night sky, leaving trails of sparkling light. Jeff watched, his eyes wide with wonder, as the fireworks painted the sky in vibrant hues. As the final fireworks burst into a brilliant finale, Jeff turned to Arthur. "This has been the best adventure ever. I'm so grateful for everything we've experienced and the friends we've made." Arthur nodded, feeling a sense of contentment. "It's been unforgettable, Jeff. I'm glad we got to share it." The next morning, as they prepared to leave, Jeff and Arthur made their way through the park one last time to say their goodbyes. They visited the park staff who had helped them, including Emily and the designers, thanking them for their hospitality. Their final stop was to see the gremlin in the maintenance tunnels. The gremlin, now happily entertained with his light orb, was sad to see them go. "Will you come back to visit?" he asked, looking up at Jeff with hopeful eyes. Jeff smiled warmly. "Of course we will. And we'll bring more magical trinkets next time." Before leaving, the park manager presented Jeff with a special souvenir. A custom-made AstroWorld medallion, engraved with the park's logo and the date of their visit. "This is to remind you of your time here and all the fun we had," the manager said. Jeff accepted the medallion with gratitude. "Thank you so much. I'll treasure it always." As they walked towards the exit, Jeff and Arthur reflected on their adventures. The thrill of the rides, the mystery of the disappearing items, and the friends they made along the way had made their trip truly magical. With their bags packed and hearts full, Jeff and Arthur headed home. The drive was filled with laughter and stories of their favorite moments at AstroWorld. "I can't wait for our next adventure," Jeff said, already planning in his mind. "Where do you think we should go next, Arthur?" Arthur chuckled. "Let's take it one adventure at a time, Jeff, but wherever we go, I'm sure it will be amazing." As they arrived home, tired but happy, Jeff and Arthur knew that the memories of their magical day at AstroWorld would stay with them forever. And with the promise of new adventures on the horizon, they were ready for whatever came next.